Today we have a 2025 Acura Integra Type S. In this video, I'll talk about what the Type S is and how it compares to the Civic Type R, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it. Not so long ago, I spent a week with the FL5 Type R, and just like the FK8, it enchanted me with its fantastic engine tuning, manual transmission, great suspension, and practicality. I enjoyed every second behind the wheel, whether it was on a daily basis or on my favorite back road. Both the Type R and the Type S are heavily modified performance version of their normal counterparts and use Honda's global HA platform. The suspension features a dual-axis struts up front and a multi-link setup in the back, combined with adaptive dampers that adjust automatically to driving conditions based on things like the steering input, G-forces, or the suspension stroke. We get redesigned body panels to accommodate wider front and rear tracks and reduce drag and lift, which is what we want to avoid when driving a track-ready car that can do up to 170 miles per hour. As of tires, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's are standard, as are 4-piston Brembo brakes. Now, while the Honda has all the car things that I want in a car, some features that are not necessary but are nice to have are missing, and that's when the Integra Type S comes into play. So, what are the differences? The list isn't super long. From the mechanical perspective, we get a softer suspension setup, modified exhaust with pops and bangs in the most aggressive Sport Plus mode, and a 5 horsepower bump equaling a total of 320 horses. The torque remained the same at 310 pound-feet, and the 6-speed manual transmission with a mechanical LSD also remains unchanged. When it comes to other stuff, the Integra is more comfort-oriented with extra sound deadening materials and comes with more tech features. Parking sensors, head-up display, rain-sensing wipers, heated front seats, and an optional heated steering wheel. Again, not deal breakers, but things that make life easier. Obviously, as a luxury product, the Acura costs more, around $8,000 with the pricing starting at $52,600 compared to $44,800 for the Civic, and unlike the Honda, which is made in Japan, the Integra is made here, in the US at Honda's factory in Ohio. Now, before we talk how it all works together and what it's like to drive the Integra Type S, let's jump inside and talk about the interior space. The fact that the Integra is based on the Civic can be a blessing or a curse. But in this case, it's a blessing as it retains practicality of its smaller cousin with a very spacious trunk, great storage across the cabin, and very generous legroom and headroom. While the dashboard looks different at first glance, all the buttons and switches are in the same place and the materials used feel similar. Not so premium, but it is a more massaged cabin with a more upscale feeling. You get more color options, but overall it isn't drastically different. The only downside is technology. While the customizable gauge cluster has a clean design and provides you with all the information you need, the Google-based infotainment system is slow and looks super generic, almost like an afterthought. On a positive note, the ELS sound system provides a good audio quality and a very clear sound. Now, as a luxury vehicle, the Integra is more comfort-oriented, and that means it doesn't get the buckets that the Type R has. The seats in here are comfortable and offer lumbar support, something missing in the Civic, but they don't hold you as well in place, and I would take Honda seats over those any day. So that was the interior of the Integra Type S. Let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Now, the big question is, besides the obvious luxury features and different styling, what differs the Acura from Honda? Well, from the driving dynamics perspective on the road, as I didn't take neither of those cars to the racetrack, it's almost impossible to separate the Integra Type S from the Civic Type R. Just like in case of the Honda, it's unbelievable what this thing is capable of. With the adaptive dampers in either comfort or sport, the Integra Type S feels perfect on the road. The damping is good and uneven pavement, like the one on my favorite back road, doesn't upset the car. The Integra is still incredibly stable, the body roll pretty much doesn't exist, and lifting up the throttle in the corner gives you a little bit of controllable oversteer, making the car rotate nicely. The steering, just as expected, is very precise and responsive, offering a pretty good feedback. The feel and travel of the brake pedal is just the way it should be, the brakes perform very well, and after aggressive street driving, I didn't notice any issues with fading. Now, every car, especially a performance car, isn't all about handling capabilities. The drivetrain also plays an important role, and the one in the Type S doesn't disappoint. The K20C is without a doubt the best performance-oriented 2-liter 4-cylinder that I've ever driven. It feels a bit old school with a noticeable turbo lag, waking up at 2500 RPM, and then VTEC kicks in at 5500, but the power delivery is super smooth and I love the way this unit was tuned. As a side note, the Integra has slightly more aggressive exhaust note with pops and bangs when lifting off the throttle, but shockingly, no fake engine noise that the Type R has. Now, 320 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque sounds like an issue with front-wheel drive, but thanks to a mechanical LSD and a very well-programmed traction control system, it's unbelievable how well all this power and torque are transferred. The TC system is not intrusive, managing the torque steer and understeer pretty well without drastically cutting down the power. Shifting through gears is pleasant, and the second you pop the gearbox into a gear, you know it's a Honda shifter. The clutch pedal feels light without much feel to it, but it is very easy to start this car off and get it rolling, something you will definitely appreciate as you daily drive this thing. Which brings us to the question, what is it like to drive the Type S on a daily basis? Well, great. The Civic Type R is already a great daily, but the Integra takes it up a notch. The softer suspension setup improved already good ride quality, and there is less tire and wind noise coming inside the cabin. The 2-liter is a very refined unit, and with great set of driving assist features, you get a vehicle that has that dual personality that us car enthusiasts are constantly looking for. Anyways, that's basically all I had to say about the Integra Type S, so with everything we covered, let's jump to the final thoughts. As an overall package and a daily, the Integra Type S is a better car, but the final call is yours and you have to ask yourself a question whether A, you like the Acura's design more, and B, all those extra features and better ride comfort are worth $8,000. Just like the Civic, the Integra is an excellent one-car solution for an enthusiast with a family or without. It's unbelievable what this thing is capable of, and I can guarantee you, you will not use its full potential on public roads. The handling capabilities are out of this world, and I don't want to say that this thing is an overkill because you can have plenty of fun on curvy back roads, but you will definitely appreciate the Type S on a racetrack or an autocross course. If you have any questions about the Integra Type S or the Civic Type R, feel free to drop a comment and I'll answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.